Sixt Car and Truck Rental is ready, Australia. Electric vehicles, they're as charged as we are. BYO engine noises.
Founded by Sean P. Colgan, the Colgan Foundation has supported athletes, students, scientists, mentors, Catholic clergy, war veterans and others in need since 1995. The philanthropic reach of the foundation extends across many nations. From Philadelphia high schoolers to children in El Salvador, from rowers from the Antipodes to active military in undisclosed international locations, the efforts of the Colgan Foundation make an impact around the world. Rowing Australia is pleased to be a partner with the Colgan Foundation in developing our national 8-oared cruise for 2028. Bannister Downs Dairy is a family-owned dairy farm and processor located in the beautiful southwest of West Australia, and they are very proud to be able to support these amazing rowing athletes with what has been proven to be some of the best milk in Australia. At Bannister Downs, we admire the discipline, commitment and attention to the health of athletes. Nutrition, health and fantastic flavour are the priority at Bannister Downs, and we wish everyone the very best in the final days at the 2024 Australian Rowing Championships.
And Lizzie, the first race of the Interstate Regatta is underway.
In lane 2, we have Nikki Ayres from the Australian Capital Territory. She's coached by Dave Romano and David Bagnall. In lane 3, we have Lisa Greisel representing New South Wales. She's coached by Odin McIntosh. In lane 4, we have Kaylee Mitchell from Queensland, coached by Michael Russell. And in lane 5, representing Victoria, Susanna Lutz, coached by Eleanor Croot.
And of course, New South Wales' Lisa Greisel has had a very successful regatta, but Nikki Ayres is the world champion in the PR3 mixed double scull and now the national champion in the same event with Jed Altschwager. And here she is plying her trade in the single scull for the Interstate Women's PR3 Single Scull Championship of Australia.
Yes, indeed. So she won this event in 2019, 2022 and again last year. So 3 times winning for ACT. This race started in 2016, the para single sculls, and then that time it was over 1,000 metres, but in 2018 it moved to 2,000 metres, and in the 7 times it's been run, 3 wins to New South Wales, 3 to ACT, all Nikki, and the New South Wales ones were all Kate Murdoch, and once to Victoria, which was Jess Gallagher.
Jess Gallagher was a very talented multi-sport athlete, wasn't she?
She was, and she has chosen leading into these next Olympics to represent Australia in cycling, paracycling.
Okay, she's probably away with the former national team athlete Alice McNamara at the moment, who is a team doc for the paracycling team.
Yes, and for the basketball team.
Yep, that's the case indeed. But it is Nikki Ayres, unsurprisingly, who comes to the 500-metre mark. She's opened up a length and a half lead in the early stages. Nikki Ayres, coached by David Romano and David Bagnall. David Romano, the head coach of the ACT High Performance Program. David Bagnall, former chair of ACT Rowing, obviously assisting Dave Romano there. Lisa Greisel is holding down second place. Then follows Susanna Lutz in Victoria, and in 4th place is the Queenslander Kaylee Mitchell, who is coached by Michael Russell, so one should assume that Kaylee Mitchell is a member of the University of Queensland Boat Club crew.
So Kaylee represented Queensland last year and came 4th, yesterday she won the bronze medal in the double scull, the mixed double scull. So yes, absolutely rose for the University of Queensland Boat Club and has been representing in both para and able-bodied events at this regatta.
Okay, yes, and her double scull partner from yesterday, no, as you were, Mac Russell actually rode with Lisa Greisel, didn't he?
He did, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the moment it's Nikki Ayres, and with the drone shot there looking down on her, she's got really nice rhythm, long strokes. She covers the spoons beautifully. There's no wash. Her entries are very clean indeed. Her extractions are very clean as well. And as she heads toward the 1,000 metre mark, it's quite an impressive lead that Nikki Ayres has set up in the early stages. Nikki is a nurse by trade, and to move to South Australia to spend more time being able to coach with Jed Alchwager, trying to turn that World Championship gold medal into a Paralympic gold medal. And she has taken on more training, has become a midwife, I understand.
Yes, that's right. So last year she won this event over in Capital Lakes in a time of 8:46. Yesterday she won the para single scull, the PR3 single scull, in a time of 8:18, and that really goes to show how much the training in South Australia has assisted her in really reducing the time it takes her to race 2,000 metres. Nikki came into the para rowing scene in 2018 through the Train for Tokyo Talent ID campaign, and she represented Australia in the PR3 mixed 4, where Australia placed 5th. In 2019 she was a reserve for that crew, and she sculled, and she was very inexperienced at sculling, and learnt an awful lot that year. 2020, of course, we didn't do anything internationally, but 2021 she was back in the PR3 mixed 4 at the Paralympics, where the crew placed 4th, and she took a year off, as you say, to do midwifery in 2022, coming back into the team in 2023 in the mixed double scull, where she and Jed took gold. So she's had a successful career over a few years now, and has increased in confidence and ability as she's gone. And our sport of rowing, you need time.
Well, she's matured as an athlete, and and it's miles and months of training that makes you mature as an athlete. 10,000 hours is the old benchmark, isn't it? 10,000 hours of training. And Nikki would be getting up to that now. And Christine McLaren coaching them in South Australia most of the time?
Yes, absolutely, coaching her and Jed, along with Nick Mitchell from the South Australian Sports Institute. And a shout out to Christine. Really sorry to hear that she had a fall yesterday and has broken her wrist. So
oh my goodness, no.
Don't think she's here today, and she will be having to have surgery on it next week. So we're really sorry to hear that. Christine is a huge part of rowing in South Australia, and a very popular coach, Coach of the Year in South Australian Sports Institute this year.
Yep.
So
looks like James Loveday on the bicycle over there following the peloton down. We've got a runner following them as well, and
well, we do have, as well as Nikki, we've got 2 other members of the national team in this race. We've got Lisa Greisel, who is from New South Wales, who is the reserve for the mixed double for the Paralympic campaign, and we have who's fairly new to the team. She was debuted last year in Gavirate at the Para International Regatta in the mixed 4, and this year she's reserve in the mixed double. And then we have Susanna Lutz in lane 5, who's representing Victoria, who raced in the PR3 mixed 4 last year when the crew placed 4th, and came 2nd in this event last year in the single. And you can see she's having a great race with Lisa there. They're both vying for 2nd place. I think Susanna's sitting in 3rd just at the moment.
Yeah. And you said the International Para Regatta at Gavirate. What a great opportunity it is for our para athletes to go to that regatta regularly. Yeah. It's the best non-world championship regatta for paras, I would say, in the world.
Absolutely. There's so many para athletes there. It's fantastic. Yeah.
And because of the Australian Institute of Sports European Training Centre, they can be there. They're 5 minutes walk down to the boat shed, and everything is just laid on. It's a wonderful facility, and we continue to thank the Australian Institute of Sport and John Boltby, I believe, who did the reconnaissance for that. Right. And it was his recommendation that the European Training Centre be put in Gavirate.
It's been absolutely integral to the success of Australian rowing, I think, being positioned so centrally in Europe in such a wonderful place. Have a great team of people looking after the athletes there, and all of the sports science and physical facilities you could possibly want, plus great water on the lake. Around the corner from where the GB squad train, and James Loveday, who you mentioned, our para lead coach, cycling there on the far side, was in the GB para squad as coach for quite a few years prior to moving over to Australia. We're very lucky to have him.
And the European Training Centre headed up by Fiona de Jong these days, former AOC employee. But Nikki Ayres is making every poster winner She's many lengths clear. Lisa Greisel is on the improve. When she gets as many hours behind her as Nikki Ayres has done, she'll be very, very competitive, not just nationally, but internationally as well. Which club is she from again?
Lake Macquarie.
Lake Macquarie, that's right. She's not in mainstream Sydney. She's up at Lake Macquarie. But the first points to the Australian Capital Territory in the Interstate Women's PR3 Single Cell. So the John Coates Cup this year for the Interstate Champions, and first blood goes to the Australian Capital Territory. Congratulations, Nikki Ayres, coached by David Framano and David Bagnall. Second place, Lisa Greisel, 14.69 seconds behind. And the winning time, 8:35.73. 14.69 by 8.2. Third place, Victoria, Susanna Lutz. And then Kaylee Mitchell of Queensland is in fourth place, still with about 100 metres to go. So Kaylee finish off the race there.
Yeah, I think she's done far more races than all the others. I think Susanna's only done one race this regatta so far.
Yeah,
she joined in the sprint squad yesterday, but I think
this is the first time I've had the pleasure of calling Susanna Lutz. I'm not sure which club she rows for. Banks Rowing Club. She's coached by Eleanor Crute.
Yeah.
Kaylee Mitchell, Queensland, in fourth place. She's coached by Michael Russell. She'll go across following this next stroke on the line there, and she has finished in fourth place. So unofficially it is first Australian Capital Territory, second New South Wales, third Victoria, fourth Queensland. The winning time 8 minutes 35.53, and the margins 14.09 by 8.22. And the second race of our Interstate Regatta is underway, Lizzie.
We have Nick Bartlett representing Victoria in lane 2. Actually, I should say that the other way around, shouldn't I? Victoria are in lane 2, represented by Nick Bartlett and coached by Henry McLeod. In lane 3, the Australian Capital Territory, Stuart John, coached by Dave Framano. In lane 4, New South Wales, Harrison Nichols, coached by Odin McIntosh. In lane 5, Queensland, Mac Russell, coached by Michael Russell. In lane 6, South Australia, Jed Altschwager, coached by Christine McLaren. And in lane 7, Tasmania, Michael Taylor, coached by Peter Volker. So Nick Bartlett, I think this is the 7th time we've run the para single scull as an interstate competition, and 6 of those have been, this must be the 8th time. So for 7 times, it's been Aaron Skinner representing Victoria. This is the first time anybody else has represented, and Nick is the head coach there at the Gippsland Grammar School.
Yep, and Mac Russell's decided he's got to go out and try and take the lead away from Jed Altschwager. Jed Altschwager is about a foot taller than Mac, and having a great domestic season, both of them, and Jed Altschwager, world champion in the mixed double scull. But little Mac Russell's got some fight in him, I tell you, and he's not going to let go of that lead he established in the early stages without a very, very determined performance. Jed Altschwager will have to pull everything out in the second half of the race to get the better of him, and as they come to the 500 metre mark, it's about 5 centimetre lead for Mac Russell over Jed Altschwager. Nick Bartlett is in third place. Then follows Harrison Nichols, Michael Taylor, and at the rear is the ACT sculler, Stuart John.
Our colleague here in the commentary tower. So Mac Russell, he's raced for Queensland 6 times in this event. 3 golds, 1 silver, 2 bronze.
Yes, he was having a lovely time in this event until Jed Altschwager came out of the woodwork.
That's right. So last year, Jed took the silver. He wasn't very well, I don't think, last year, but he took the gold in 2021 and he took the silver in 2018. So he's got 3 medals from this, compared with Max's 6.
So the PR3, Lizzie, can you explain once again? You did a couple of days ago.
In the para rowing categories, we have 3. PR1 is where there is 1 muscle group that can be used, essentially your arms. PR2 is where you can also use your trunk, and PR3 where you can use arms and trunk and legs.
Yep, and our co-commentator Stuart John, a bit off the pace, but ladies and gentlemen, Stuart has tiny fingers, and he has an aid to try and wrap his fingers around the handle. He does an outstanding job because the fingers are so important in a sculling boat, and he has to. He actually has an aid to make it look like his fingers are longer, and it's incredible what he can do, given the state of his hands, which he was born with.
Yes.
It wasn't an accident.
Nope.
Who was it that we had that had a mower run over her legs? Kath Ross.
Yes.
Catherine Ross had a mower legs and disfigured her. Hit the front. 0.38. I questioned that. It was more 0.008. Nick Bartlett is in third place. And then back in fourth is Harrison Nichols, representing New South Wales. He's coached by Odin McIntosh.
And I'm amazed he's here. He's just had an operation on his foot, which is where he has his impairment. He won gold last year, and he also represented in the Australian PR3-4 at the World Championships. He's really hoping to make selection for that crew for the Paralympics in Paris later this year. But this latest operation, he also had an infection, I think, in the bone. So it's taking him a little while to come back. And I'm amazed he's here. And it really shows the grit of the man to be back here competing and representing New South Wales.
Yeah. So Nick Bartlett, head coach, you said, at Gippsland Grammar?
Yeah.
Yeah. So doing a good job rowing himself. He's coached by Henry McLeod for Victoria here. We see little Mac Russell. He's not going to give it up without a fight. They are bow ball to bow ball.
Wow.
Jed Alschwager in lane 6. Mac Russell in stain 5. Mac Russell rowing a Felipe there. It looks like a Sykes boat that Jed Alschwager is in. And look at him go. Mac's got the beat up. He's a couple of points higher than Alschwager. Alschwager takes longer strokes. He's a taller man. And he's a longer, slightly more deliberate. But Mac, over a minute or so, probably taking 1 or 2 more strokes than Jed Alschwager. Just had a look to his left there, Mac Russell, and said, "You're not going to beat me off that easily, old mate. I'm hanging on, and I'm going to punch it all the way to the line with you." They go through the 1,500 metre mark on this stroke, and Alschwager leads Mac Russell by 0.49. 5:48.42, 0.49 the margin. Then back to Nick Bartlett. He looks pretty comfortable in the bronze medal position for Victoria. And then in fourth place is the New South Wales sculler Harrison Nichols. Fifth is Tasmania Michael Taylor, and at the rear is Stuart John, representing the Australian Capital Territory. 35 strokes to the minute for Mac Russell, and he's a point or 2 higher than Jed Alschwager. So a terrific race for these, as Alschwager and Russell. Alschwager now a metre maybe, a metre in front, but I wouldn't relax if I was you, Jed. This little bloke is coming again. The bow numbers there, 6 and 5, 5 and 6. Really good run in both boats. No stop whatsoever. So Jed Alschwager's got his bow in front now, trying to get points for South Australia. The first points for South Australia in the Interstate Championship for the John Coates Cup. And he's just narrowly in front of the tenacious Queenslander Mac Russell, holding down second place. Victoria's Nick Bartlett is in third. And in fourth place is the New South Wales Welshman Harrison Nichols. And fifth is Tasmania Michael Taylor. He's coached by Peter Volker. But Jed Alschwager getting the upper hand in the last 500 metres for South Australia. He's coached by Christine McLaren. Unfortunately, Christine not here, having had a fall off a bicycle. And it will be Jed Alschwager of South Australia will win the Interstate Men's PR3 Single Scull. Queensland, Mac Russell will be second. Victoria, Nick Bartlett third. New South Wales, Harrison Nichols fourth. Fifth will be Tasmania, Michael Taylor. And sixth, the Australian Capital Territory, Stuart John, who's coached by David Framano. The winning time is 7:48.89, and the margin's 5.59 by 5.26. Harrison Nichols a further 12.46 back. There's just a little break there, Lizzie, so we might be able to have a medal presentation before we announce who's in the next. Not due to go until 1:25, the next race.
As our final sculler approaches the line, we confirm that the results of the Interstate Men's Para Single Scull was a win for South Australia, Jed Altschwager. The silver medal is going to go to Queensland, Mac Russell. The bronze medal to Victoria, Nick Bartlett. Fourth, New South Wales, Harrison Nichols. Fifth, Tasmania, Michael Taylor. And crossing the line now, representing the Australian Capital Territory, Stuart John. Presentation of medals for the Interstate Women's Para Single Scull Championship of Australia. The medals and trophy will be presented by Ben Houston, President of Commonwealth Games Australia. Third place and bronze medalist, Victoria, represented by Susanna Lutz. Susanna was coached by Eleanor Crute. Second place and silver medalist, New South Wales. New South Wales was represented by Lisa Greisel, and Lisa was coached by Odin McIntosh. Gold medalist and Australian Interstate Champion for 2024, representing the Australian Capital Territory, Nikki Ayres. Nikki was coached by Dave Romano and David Bagnall. The Interstate Trophy for the PR3 Women's Single Scull is now being presented to Nikki. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our champion and medalists in the Interstate Women's Para Single Scull.
And Lizzie, now we're crossing to the start line for the Interstate Women's Single Scull for the Nell Slater Cup.
In lane 3, representing New South Wales, Tara Rigney, coached by Alfie Young. In lane 4, representing South Australia, Ella Bramwell, coached by Nick Mitchell and Ron Mobbs. In lane 5, representing Victoria, Rhea Thompson. In lane 6, representing Western Australia, Tanika Webb. In lane 7, representing the Australian Capital Territory, Kara Gruskowiak. And in lane 8, representing Queensland, Danica Free, coached by Duncan Free.
Of course, the New South Wales representative, Tara Rigney, has been selected to row for Australia in the single scull in the Olympic Games, and she was third in the single scull at the World Championships last year. So she will be the scullers to beat. Rhea Thompson from Victoria. She began her training or rowing under Dave Orchard and now lives in Queensland. She went up there for university, but still rowing for her native state of Victoria. South Australia was to be Molly Goodman, but it is now Ella Bramwell. I can only see 5 there, Lizzie. See lane 3 coming in. So,
I would really like to help you, Ray, but the internet's so slow. I think we must have 100,000 people beaming in on the live stream there.
Well, it was well over 100,000 this morning. I forget what the number was. Richard might find out for us.
But it looks
May
as
well
though
be
it's
South
lane-
Australia is not going to start. Lane 4 is a scratching. Thank you to our wonderful director, John Williamson, who can't sing. It's not John Williamson, the good old Mallee boy.
I'm sure you don't mean he can't sing. I think you mean he's not the singer.
Oh, okay. All right. Victoria, as I said, Ria Thompson. Western Australia, Tanika Webb. Australian Capital Territory, Kara Grasoviak. And Queensland, Danica Free.
So in the sheds before this bit of our competition started, there was a lot of banter about who exactly has won most often from the different states in this event. So I'd just like to confirm it is New South Wales. But looking at the history of the Nell Slatter Trophy, it was first presented in 1963, which is when I think the women's single scull competition joined the interstate competition. And the trophy was presented by the Queensland Women's Rowing Association in honour of their then president, Nell Slatter. And Queensland have won it 16 times.
I was going to say Queensland would have to be second if New South Wales at
Yeah,
first.
that's right, and Victoria 13. And you've had most recently Maddie Edmonds, who won in 2017
Sally
and 2018.
Keogh.
Yeah.
Sally Keogh before
And
her.
Sally
Pip
Keogh,
Savage.
she won it 5 times, yeah.
And
Pip
Kindwin
Savage.
Frisch is now Kindwin Fay, married to Robin. And then went to the University of Queensland Boat Club. But
the
no
last-
doubt that
so
Tara
the-
Rigney is the favourite here. Her sculling
Yeah.
performance, her technique in her single scull in the national championships was exemplary, I
Yes, oh, she's such a technician, I agree. Very hardworking. So, yep, 2019 was Jen Horton. Obviously, we didn't have anything in 2020. Tara won in 2021 in Lake Barrington. And that famous picture of her holding the trophy. In 2022, it was Harriet Hudson. In 2023, it was Tara Rigney. So
I remember the race in Lake Barrington because Caitlin Cronin went out like a startled rabbit, and Tara got her just in the last 5 or 6 strokes. It was a fantastic performance by Caitlin Cronin on a fantastic rowing lake as well. But our drone hovering over the top of the start here. Thank you to BMA for their shots that they're bringing us. This race is actually running just a touch late, which is unusual because the boat race officials have kept things up to the mark all the way through the regatta. Lots of people in the crowd. I've never been here to a head of the river, but I've never seen so many cars in the car park as I have done today. I was expecting to drive 3 hours and be in Bulla Dealerton, and I reckon it'll take me 3 hours to get out of here. Danica Free in Station 8 representing Queensland. Her dad won the President's Cup 7 or 8 times, Duncan, who's coaching Danica. Yeah. And Danica's grandfather, the late Reg Free, the legendary Reg Free, won the President's Cup for Tasmania as well. So,
And we haven't talked about Reg too much this regatta, I don't think. But hello to Helen, who we know will be watching, his wife.
Very proud
Grandma
of our
of Danica.
grandchildren. Jackson, Luca and Danica are all racing here, and equally proud of the children who aren't racing. Yes.
100%, yeah.
Great.
I was looking at the times to this. So Kim Brennan was pretty quick. She, in 2016, did 7:23 here at Cirque in this event. And 7:18, Dana Folletic in 2006 on Lake Barrington. Adele Ferguson, 7:18 in 1988. So that's Hamish Harding's mum.
A great shot of our starter pressing the button to see send them on their way. I'm not sure who the starter is for the afternoon session, but Tara Rigney has got out very smartly indeed. And that's not surprising. She's the form athlete within the whole sculling group, and there's no doubt that she is an overwhelming favourite for the event. But Kara Graskowiak has got out well as well. Her best is very good, Kara Graskowiak.
Yes, indeed. So a bit of a dark horse, Kara, but has represented Australia's under 23 and senior A level, and has won Henley Women's Regatta twice. The last time, it was either last year or the year before, where she said to me, "This is it, I'm starting a really proper job, changing, you know, and I'm going to stop rowing now, and I'm just doing this as a bit of a tour to, you know, finish off my rowing career." And here she is, still sculling at the top level,
Was she
representing Australia again.
Was she coached by our old mate Nick Garrett at one stage?
Oh, 100% she was, yes, when he was there as the head of the ACT program, yes.
So she's clearly in second place at the moment. So the ACT looking to gather more points in the back. Young when she's rowing for New South Wales, coached by Ellen Randall when she's in the National Training Centre.
And a really lovely story, which I know has been repeated quite a few times, particularly by Rupert Guinness in recent media reports, but was a netball player, had an injury, had done some rowing at school, Loreto Kirribilli. Pathways 8, and made a return to rowing, teamed up with Alfie, and the rest is history, really.
I think when she went to the Olympics in Tokyo, she was about 2.5 years ahead of schedule. I think she was making such rapid progress. There's a coach, Alfie Young, on a bike on the far side there, diligently watching his charge. Tara Rigney is rowing about a length clear of Rhea Thompson, representing her native state of Victoria, but domiciled, well, when she's not at the National Training Centre, she's in Queensland. Rode here for the University of Queensland Boat Club, and then back to Kara Graskowiak of the Australian Capital Territory. Then follows Danica Free, and Tarnika Webb is at the rear of the field in 5th place, and unfortunately South Australia was a scratching. And, just a little more movement on the water, but the conditions have been absolutely stunning all week, and I've had phone calls and text messages about how wonderful the conditions have been just about all week. So these athletes enjoying that. We have the zonal umpiring, umpire number 6 there sitting on the side. Probably people yelling in his ear as they go past in the peloton there. But I think there's that many people watching that we're actually losing our signal touch. And Rhea Thompson, of course, was Olympic bronze medalist in Tokyo in the quad scull. And she's not overly big for a quad sculler. I actually said that day she's probably the smallest person ever to win a women's Olympic bronze medal in quad sculling, because normally they're very large people, aren't they?
Yeah, well, certainly tall, and I know that Tara has had to really work hard to get her weight up, and weights and nutrition are a very important part of any female rower's preparation. We can see there Rhea really hanging on to Tara, giving her a red hot go. She's only 2 seconds behind at the 1,000-metre mark. Yep,
and those 3 senior A athletes are in turn about 8 seconds in front of a about to be senior B representative.
Yes,
in
under
Danica
23
Free.
double scull, I think Danica's been selected into. Yeah.
Yeah, and to be coached by her dad, and at the rear is Tarnika Webb of Western Australia. So Western Australia with a rich history here as well, with the likes of Amber Bradley. She won this event on a number of occasions.
She did 2001, 3 and 4, yes.
And Lizzie, you and I got a shout out from Amber Halliday. It was great today to hear from Amber.
It was.
Former outstanding.
Proud auntie of Mia Chapman, my new adopted offspring.
That's right. And a former outstanding sculler herself and double sculler. So great to hear from Amber and the relationship with her niece. But it is the Victorian on screen, Rhea Thompson, is holding down second place and doing a terrific job there, rowing an M-Packer. He's in station 5. And you can just see the wash coming off Tara Rigney's boat as Tara's gone for a push there. I think she's trying to open up a slightly more comfortable break when they come to the 1,500 metre mark. over Rhea Thompson and Kara Griskoviak. Griskoviak there in station 7. Really long ponytail all the way down her back. And then back to Danica Free in 4th place and Tarnika Webb from Western Australia in 5th. The medals look pretty much cut and dry to me, Lizzie, even with 500 metres to go. Certainly looks like New South Wales, Victoria, ACT will be the bronze, silver and gold in the Interstate Women's Single Scull for the Nell Slatter Cup. 6.7 or just over 2 lengths clear Tara Rigney over Rhea Thompson. 5.02 back to Kara Griskoviak in 3rd place. As they leave the 1500 metre mark and they come towards the grandstand, it's full, absolutely chock-a-block full today. Lots of people in yellow who are not volunteers there. I'm not sure which school that is, but there are a lot of them. And lots of encouragement for the races before lunch. The crowd was deafening on a number of occasions there with some fantastic racing going on as Tara has let loose. And she's put the gap in Rhea Thompson over the last 500 metres. It was about a length to a length and a half, about 500 metres back. It's 3 lengths and getting further in front now in the second half of the race. New South Wales, Tara Rigney, coached by Alfie Young. Back-to-back Interstate Women's Single Scull champions for the Nell Slatter Cup. 2nd, Victoria, Rhea Thompson. 3rd, ACT, Kara Griskoviak. 4th, Queensland, Danica Free. 5th, Tarnika Webb of Western Australia. And we're inside the last 125 metres now. And some on the peloton have said, I'll go back and watch the men's because this one is safely in the keeping of Tara Rigney. Not Alfie Young, though. He's following her all the way down the course, her coach, when rowing for New South Wales. And sculling well. Her technique's good. She's got very good entries. Ellen Randall doing a great job at the National Training Centre. New South Wales first. Victoria will cross the line in another 3 strokes. 1, 2. Victoria 2nd. ACT 3rd, Kara Griskoviak. 4th will be Queensland, Danica Free. 5th will be Western Australia, Tarnika Webb. The winning time 7:39.92. The margin 9.80 or 3 lengths by 3.87.
As our last sculler approaches the line, we confirm the results of the Interstate Women's Single Scull Championship racing for the Nell Slatter Cup. And the winner, New South Wales, Tara Rigney. 2nd, Victoria, Rhea Thompson. 3rd, Australia Capital Territory, Kara Griskoviak. 4th, Queensland, Danica Free. And 5th, Western Australia, Tarnika Webb. Winning time 7 minutes 39.92. The presentation of medals and the trophy for the Interstate Men's Para Single Scull Championship of Australia. The medals and trophy will be presented by Mr. Ben Houston, President of Commonwealth Games Australia. Third place and bronze medalists representing Victoria, Nick Bartlett. Nick was coached by Henry McLeod. Second place and silver medalist representing Queensland, Mac Russell. Nick is coached by Michael Russell. Gold medalist and interstate champion for 2024, representing South Australia, Jed Altschwager. Jed is coached by Christine McLaren. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our champion and our medalists in the Interstate Men's Para Single Scull.
So, Lizzie, we're now going to the President's Cup for the Interstate Men's Single Scull Championship of Australia.
And expecting an exciting race here with Caleb Antill of the Australian Capital Territory in lane 2. In lane 3, Alex Underhill, OAM of South Australia. In lane 4, Joshua Hicks of Western Australia. In lane 5, Joseph Wilson of Tasmania. In lane 6, Marcus Delamata of New South Wales. In lane 7, Jackson Free of Queensland. And in lane 8, Dom Frederico of Victoria. So I think we've got a couple of people making their debut here. Certainly Marcus Delamata from New South Wales. He's had a fantastic season and being capped off by being chosen to represent New South Wales in the single. He's coached by Tom Lorridge there at the Sydney University Boat Club. Dom Frederico is his second time, I think, of representing Victoria. I love on the VIS website, I think it is, they've got his favourite quote, which is, "It takes a big chicken to tow a plough," and Dom is a lightweight.
And he is the grandson, is he not, of the great Hubert Frederico? And we're underway. I have a question for Owen Nix. When was the last time we saw a brother? Oh, no, they're cousins. I'm sorry, I was going to say brother and sister, the Frees, but they're actually cousins.
Oh, that's true, they are too. So Danica Free coached by Duncan and Jackson Free coached by his brother Marcus. So Jackson is racing there in lane 7 for Queensland.
And we've had information through that the rowers this week have covered 31,360 kilometres of racing.
Really?
Yep.
That's James Taylor that's worked that out, isn't it?
Yes, in
James,
lane 6.
The engineer, James, you are a rowing tragic, but thank you.
Marcus Delamata has gone to the lead. Marcus has been selected in the double scull to try and qualify that boat for the Olympic Games. So they'll go to what is known as the Regatta of Death in Lucerne on the beautiful Rothsay in June, I think it is, or it might be May.
And I think he'll find the water there somewhat different to the championships he was doing last year, where he and the year before, where he represented Australia in the coastal single in the beach sprints.
But he'll understand after he's been there for a couple of days why one corner is called BS Corner, where all of the coaches stand and analyse everybody else's rowing, but their athletes are always doing well. Now, Alex Hill has had success in this race before, has he not?
He, I believe, has, yes, in 2000 and, sorry, I need to find my notes here, 2021 and 2019 he won gold at this, and which is amazing. Like, he is a real specialist at the coxless fours, isn't he? With
he is, but I wouldn't write him off.
Gold and silver at the Olympics, and a couple of golds and a silver at the World Championships in that coxless four, and yet it's just such an amazing single sculler too.
And Marcus Delamata leads Alex Hill. And then in third place, who was up there, it was Dom Frederico, Caleb Antill, and then back to Dom Frederico and Jackson Free. And Josh Hicks just a little off the pace there. Josh Hicks, of course, selected in the men's 8 for the Olympic campaign, both of the first two World Cups.
And we wish him well for this, because I
Cups.
think the last 2 Olympics he has been the reserve. So
he has.
So yeah, wish him the very best of luck, because he is a superb boat mover, whether it's a big boat or a small boat.
And he's a very nice young man as well.
And he will be racing later on in the King's Cup. So.
He will be, yep. But Alex Hill is challenging for the lead here. He is right there with Marcus Delamata. Recently engaged, Alex, and did say...
I thought you were going to say Marcus was.
No, hoping to get married next year or the year after. So.
Yeah.
And he'll happily get married and maybe go back to the farm in Loxton. You never know.
Yeah,
but
you never know.
He is in Station 2. He's a very big, strong athlete. And he's right there with Delamata and has got his bow in front. Unsurprisingly, he's got a great engine, has Alex Hill. And Marcus Delamata, what a transition from being in the beach sprint team last year, the open water rowing team, to having the opportunity to try and qualify the double scull to be part of an Olympic Games, having gone directly from open water rowing. And we can see Josh Hicks on the screen there as they go through the 1,000, and Alex Hill has got a length lead. 3 minutes 25.33, 2.42 back to Delamata. Caleb Antill is in third place. The lightweight Dom Frederico is really serving it up to them. Then follows Josh Hicks, Joseph Wilson and Jackson Free. But, some really interesting racing going on here. I think Free's a bit closer to that than I thought, but it is still the South Australian Alexander Hill OAM, coached by Nicholas Mitchell, the head coach at the South Australian Institute of Sport. And dare I say it, he has gone for home. He is 2 lengths clear now over Marcus Delamata in second place, coached by Big Tommy Lorich, Marcus Delamata. And then a great race for third, Dom Frederico from Victoria. Nearest the grandstand, Caleb Antill for the ACT over on the far side of the course. Then back to Josh Hicks, Joseph Wilson and Jackson Free. Plenty of people following this one, and it is still, oh, look at him go.
So he's got his rate up at about 35. I think Marcus is sitting there at about 34. So just that one pip, having that that bulk behind him, like a big engine, as you say. And Josh Hicks also, a man with a big engine, sitting there at rate 34. Looking very good indeed, and Caleb Antill just behind.
Yep, it's a commanding
just
lead.
In front, actually. Caleb Antill making a really good comeback. Look at him at the top of the screen there.
He's out to challenge Marcus Delamata for the silver medal, but no doubt about our gold medalist, even this far out, 5 minutes 11.3. 0.29 seconds. You may as well say 3 lengths for Alex Hill for South Australia over New South Wales, Marcus Delamata. ACT, Caleb Antill. Then follows Victoria's Dom Frederico, and the rest of the field headed by Josh Hicks of Western Australia. Tasmania's Joseph Wilson and Queensland's Jackson Free is back in 7th place. So a full field of 7, which is great to see in this event. Let's hope we can see 7 in some of the bigger boats that are about to come on to us. Josh Hicks trying to get in contention for that bronze medal if he can. Dom Frederico on this side and Caleb Antill on the far side, but none of them are any match for Alex Hill, OAM of South Australia. Look at the lead he's established there through that middle 1,000 of the race. It's a wonderful physiology that Alexander Hill has, and he's going right on with the job. New South Wales holding on to second, Marcus Delamata, and ACT, Caleb Antill, has probably got third sewn up now, as the great effort from Dom Frederico for Victoria starting to tell, and Josh Hicks has moved into 4th place. It was a brave effort from Frederico, the smallest guy in the race by a long, long way. You compare him to the size and the bulk of Alex Hill and Marcus Delamata. He's fighting in a different weight division, that's for sure. But a wonderful sculling performance by Alex Hill. South Australia first for the President's Cup. Second, New South Wales. Third, ACT. Fourth, Josh Hicks. Well done, Hicksy. Fifth, Tasmania will get up and run. 5th, yes they will. Tasmania will be 5th. Victoria 6th. Queensland 7th in the President's Cup. 6, 59.62. Margin 3.71 by 0.96.
Fantastic. So just in case you missed it in all that excitement, our President's Cup, the Interstate Men's Single Scull, was won by South Wales' Marcus Delamata, coached by Tom Lorridge. Third, Caleb Antill from the Australian Capital Territory, coached by David Framano. Fourth, West Australia, Joshua Hicks. Fifth, Tasmania, Joseph Wilson. Sixth, Victoria, Dom Frederico. And 7th, Queensland, Jackson Free.
The winning time 6:59.62 and the margin 3.71 by 0.96.
Presentation of medals and the Nell Slatter Trophy for the Interstate Women's Single Scull Championship of Australia. The medals and trophy will be presented by Sarah Cook, Olympian, dual Olympian, and Rowing Australia Chief Executive. And bronze medalist, representing the Australian Capital Territory, Kara Greskoviak. Kara was coached by Dave Romano and David Bagnall. Second place and silver medalist, representing Victoria, Ria Thompson. Gold medalist and Australian Interstate Champion for 2024, representing New South Wales, Tara Rigney. Tara was coached by Alfie Young. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our champion and medalists in the Interstate Women's Single Scull.
Hey everyone, it's G-Ro here. We are at beautiful Penrith. It's a little bit chilly this morning. We're gonna go for a walk around and see what's happening and have a chat with everyone. Gonna find out what our next Aussie rowing team name's gonna be. Hello, sweetie. How are you?
Good, how are you, Jake?
Okay, Mads, just wanna know, what do you think we should be called?
I quite like the Yabbies.
The Yabbies!
Australians all let us rejoice.
Be like a fish of some sort. What about the salmons? Here come the silly salmons!
Australians all let us rejoice.
The emus! They do have very long legs.
They do have long legs.
Yeah.
And they're a little bit aggressive.
Do they walk backwards or did I make that up?
For we are young and free.
So I did hear one yesterday that
Yes.
was mentioned.
Yeah.
I think it was actually submitted.
Yes. What is it? The
Iron-
suspense is killing me.
Iron ores.
We've golden soil and wealth for toil.
That's actually pretty good.
It is.
Do you have any suggestions?
The marlins.
Oh,
Fastest fish.
I like that.
Our home is girt by sea.
You kidding us?
Cute and prickly.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Stop it. Buy me a coffee first.
In history's page, let every stage.
Why does my brain go to the wombats? But that's not something you want to be. They bloody charge things down though.
Yeah.
They don't stop. They're kind of
Yeah.
like freight trains.
Yeah.
They'll just run at you. So I feel like that's not a bad one.
Rowing McRowing face.
Advance, Australia.
Okay,
Someone gonna do that one?
I did see that one online and I thought that's hilarious, but it's not going to happen. Crocs?
The Crocs. And then you could all wear matching Crocs.
They would look really good at the bottom of the Nepean River.
Oh, right. And then it means you got snappy catches, snappy legs down, snaps, because crocodiles.
I hate how good this suggestion is.
You can just send us the contract right now.
Yeah. Are you taking commission or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Merch works too.
Yeah. I feel like these girls need 10% off here. Yeah, boy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap. Put your suggestions forward. There's a bunch of prizes to be won for the best and the most creative, so get on there and show us what you got. Well, have a good day, ladies. If you think of a name
Yeah,
for a suggestion, that'd be great.
All right, excellent.
Nice to have you here.
Thank
See ya.
Welcome to Sydney. Upbeat, downbeat. Feel its heartbeat. Open spaces. Open arms. Open all night. Come and feel new.
So we're back here, ladies and gentlemen, after that terrific presentation from Georgie. And what do we like out of all those suggested names, Lizzie? I didn't mind Wayne Diplock's suggestion, iron ores. There were some weird ones, though.
Most droll.
Most droll. Oh, that's not a nice way to say about Wayne. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you here and those at home, we have clocked over 167,000 views. When I asked Broyden a few minutes ago, it was 167,779. So let's see if we can get up to 200,000 before we finish the day. So thank you for looking, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Lizzie, the Interstate Lightweight Women's Quadruple Scull for the Victoria Cup, which used to be a sweepboard event, but it went to sculling how many years ago?
24 years ago, I think, in the year 2000. I think that it switched. It always intrigues me that things change, but I guess you need to stay with the times, don't you? Yes, and we have representing Victoria Lucy de Glaria Cade, whose mother, Minnie, represented Victoria, I believe, 8 times in the lightweight event, winning it 5 times. So 5 of those wins were in the lightweight women's 4, where I think she stroked it. And then in 2000, when it did move to being a lightweight women's quad, Minnie was in that also, representing Victoria.
And one of her great rivals is coaching the crew, by the look of Virginia Lee.
Yes, and crewmate, I think, in the Australian lightweight women's 4. That won the World Championships in 1992, I do believe. So yeah, lovely program at her own.
And they're about ready to go, Lizzie.
So let's do the, let's tell you who's in which crew. In lane 2, we have New South Wales, represented by Niamh Tierney, Laura Cypher, Georgia Mansaro and Grace Cypher, coached by Lachlan Carter and Katie Healy. In lane 3, we have Tasmania, Phoebe Teal, Sophie Robinson, Anika Reardon and Verena Zilm, coached by Abby Crow and Paul Newbon. In lane 4, representing Victoria, as we mentioned, Ellie Brennan, Lucy de Glaria Cade, Maggie Foley and Antonietta Di Cosmo, coached by Virginia Lee and also Eleanor Crute. In lane 5, representing Queensland, Jemima Powell, Scarlett Woodbury, Emily Graham and Alice O'Toole, coached by Nigel Stubbs and David Van Das. And in lane 6, Sienna Tolomei, Hayley Rowe, Izzy Emery and Lara Glendinning, coached by Stefano Belosso.
And they're rowing a boat called the Hannah Vermeesh, who was a national team athlete herself some time back. But the proud Tasmanian history in this event has seen them take the lead right from the outset. The Tasmanian crew, coached by Abby Crow and Paul Newbon. I haven't seen Paul at the regatta.
Nor have I. And of course, for me, one of the stories of the regatta, seeing Verena Zilm, that well-known South Australian who I'm sure has won this event a few times for South Australia, now in the colours of Tasmania, having lived there for a couple of years.
Yes, and obviously being granted permission to change her state of origin. Just a bit of a steering difficulty there for the Victorians as Tasmania goes through 500 metres, about nearly half a length clear over New South Wales, Western Australia a 3rd, Queensland a 4th and Victoria 5th. So not much in it, but the Tasmanians have opened up a tiny lead. Phoebe Teal, Sophie Robinson, Anika Reardon and Verena Zilm. And the Tasmanians, Georgia Nesbitt won this race on about 3 occasions. And we send a shout out to Georgia, recovering from a bicycle accident last year. And doing well with her progress. So keep up the good work, Nezzy. And it is the Tasmanians out there proudly representing their state. It's a race that they have a great history in, as do their men in the Penrith Cup. They would win the Penrith Cup, and you had to have a surname beginning with B to be in the Tasmanian crew.
So for the last 2 years, it's been a battle between Tasmania and New South Wales in this event. New South Wales got up last year, but the year before it was Tasmania, swapping positions.
And they are going hammer and tong once again, and the New South Wales crew's got a nice little burst of speed there. Both boats, M-Packers, looking like they're the same model by the look of the bow shape there. It's lane 3 is Tasmania, lane 2 is New South Wales, and there wouldn't be a metre between 1st and 2nd. In 3rd place, arguably it'd be Western Australia or Victoria, and Queensland is back in 5th place at this juncture. The lead for Tasmania over New South Wales through the 1,000 metre mark, and a whopping 7.02 back to third place as they leave the halfway mark behind him. And the New South Wales crew have now just put their bow in front.
So you're mentioning age, but the New South Wales crew is pretty young. Georgia Mansaro in the 3-seat has done this race many times, won it many times as well, and she is the older of the athletes. But we then have Grace and Laura Cypher and Neve Tierney. So Neve was very successful in the double scull with winning a gold in the under-19 double and winning at the New South Wales Championships, and a bronze in the under-19 double here at the Australian Championships. And Neve, Laura and Grace combined with, can't remember now, to win gold in the under-23 lightweight women's quad. So all of them pretty young.
Yep.
Grace, of course, our under-23 representative in the lightweight single scull at the World Championships for the last 2 years, and she's just been selected again to represent this year.
It's in Catherine's. I saw a race at Varese in 2022, actually, and her mum and dad, George and Kim, were there supporting her. Yes. They do some miles supporting their daughters travelling around the world representing.
They certainly do, yes.
Third place is certainly the Victorian crew now, coached by Virginia Lee and Eleanor Crute. Then back to the battle for fourth. Western Australia currently in fourth place and Queensland in fifth place. So New South Wales about a half a length clear, 1.55 over Tasmania, and those two crews have cleared out from the rest of the field, headed by Victoria in third place. Victoria had an amazing record in this race when it was a sweep-board race. I think they won it 15 consecutive years.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a crazy record. It was just on and on, and I don't know, is that why it was driven to change it to a quad to stop Victoria dominating or not?
And is that why it's called the Victoria Cup?
Maybe, because they owned it for all those years. But New South Wales, as you said, with the Cypher sisters in the boat, along with the experienced Georgia Mansaro and Neve Tierney. Georgia was on a team that I managed, and I stopped managing 8 years ago, so she's been
and she's
on
had a very successful career in cycling in between. I've just checked the stats here. 25 times Victoria has won it, 11 times New South Wales, 7 times Tasmania. Thank you, Andrew Gearin, for all your wonderful data, by the way, on that fantastic website called the Rowing History of Australia.
Yeah, do yourselves a favour, ladies and gentlemen, and go and have a look at Andrew's rowing history page. It's fantastic, and I visit it regularly when we're here at the National Championships to see what people have done in the past, and he has a great record, including Olympic Games and World Championships coverage. But full points here to New South Wales. Tierney, Cypher, Mansaro and Cypher are going to win the Victoria Cup to the Interstate Lightweight Women's Quadruple Scull and do it nicely. In second place will be Tasmania. Victoria comfortably in third. Fourth will be Queensland. Fifth will be Western Australia. So it's down the page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They finish in lane order. New South Wales first, Tasmania second, Victoria third, Queensland fourth, Western Australia fifth. The winning time 6 minutes 47.71. The margin's 4.47 by 11.17. Congratulations to New South Wales.
Fabulous win. So confirming the results of the Interstate Lightweight Women's Quad Scull racing for the Victoria Cup, a win for New South Wales, second Tasmania, third Victoria, fourth Queensland, fifth Western Australia. The finishing time unofficially 6 minutes 47.71. Present for the Interstate Men's Single Scull Championship of Australia. The medals and cup will be presented by the President of Rowing Australia, Rob Scott, 1996 Olympian. Third place and bronze medalist, representing the Australian Capital Territory, Caleb Antill. Caleb is coached by David Romano. Second place and silver medalist, representing New South Wales, Marcus Della Mata. Marcus is coached by Tom Lorridge. Gold medalist and Australian champion for 2024, representing South Australia, Alexander Hill, OAM. Alex is coached by Nick Mitchell. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our Interstate champion and our medalists in the Interstate Men's Single Scull.
What song are you listening to pump up?
Do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I never get enough.
Nice. Yep.
And we got to carry the orb.
You! Could you just talk us through this collection of hats that you have?
Over many years, kids after they finish racing will sign their hats and hang them up.
Yep.
And then they can show off to their friends that they've been here before. Aaron Skinner signed this hat 17 years ago at his first Nationals.
Love this guy. Do you do an off on the land warm up before you get on the water?
Yeah, a bit of active stuff.
Oh, can you give us a little demonstration? Look at those high knees. Love it. This is so great. Keep going. Best days of your lives. You know, have you got a slogan for Bole? I feel like it could be something like,
it used to be put them on your face. We're kind of going to put them back on.
life looks better through Bole.
It does, yeah.
Seriously, have you tried these?
Attention, go.
Alice, how many watts did you get?
695.
How old are you?
17.
This could be the Erg princess over here. Frothing. Ew. That's what I'm talking about. I love an oversized tee. Do you know what it's missing? Flowers. Can you tell us what you're doing here?
Well, we've got for Life's a mental fitness charity.
Very important.
Yeah.
Physical fitness is as important as mental fitness.
We've actually just launched the Mental Fitness Gym. Go onto the Gotcha for Life website, and pretty much that gives you a lot of workouts for the emotional muscles. We've got 7-day program, so that's just launched and it's been fantastic.
Girls, have you just had a race? Yeah. Oh, are we happy?
It was a scratch through.
First 500, talk me through it.
First 500, fly off the start. I like a quick start, get out in front early, or at least, you tried at the beginning if you dive towards the end. But yeah, just hold through, basically.
So proud of you. Bring it in. Can you talk me through, what part of your race are you just so hungry for? You're like, yeah, this is where... That's it, girls. I love that.
Yeah.
And you just dominate there, yeah? Before you know it, you'll be at the training centre with me. You heard it here first.
So we're back and look at the fantastic drone shots of the boat park, which is emptying out. I know as an old trailer driver myself, as soon as boats were finished, you can see trailers parked in there and frantically loading for the trip home. Having towed one to Western Australia, I can tell you it's a very long way from Queensland to Western Australia. But all of these trailers going to the likes of Tasmania and South Australia, and anybody that lives in Sydney will think it's an absolute doddle taking their trailer home later today, I would imagine, Lizzie.
You've just got to get it in and get it out, though.
Yeah, that's right. And Neil, of course, was just on the footage there, so he does a great job. Neil's Corner, as it's affectionately known, and that's where you report to when you're trying to get your trailer in. So we thank BMA and our drone driver for the fantastic shots of that infrastructure that was developed for the Sydney Olympic Regatta. And you can see those pontoons there. And yeah, there's the timing hut at the 250 metre mark, or 200 metre mark, is it, for the sprint canoe discipline. As our drone goes up, and there's our 1500 metre mark. And the car park. There's the trailers over on the far side. And we look across now to Greater Penrith and this wonderful facility that was developed for the Sydney Olympic Games. I think we first came here in 1996, and we're in the commentary box on the other side of where we are now. And Kevin Gosper said to Big Roger Wilson and I, what about this? How good is this? And we said, yeah, but we need to be on the other side. And the next time we came here, guess what? We're on the other side.
And I would have thought due in no small measure to the foresight of people like John Coates, Doug Donoghue, John Boltby, etc. John Coates, of course, the competition we are racing right now, the interstate competition having been renamed.
Yep, and you mentioned Dougie Donoghue, who was a great servant of rowing and a great servant of the Australian Olympic Committee. May he rest in peace. He was wonderful for the AOC and for rowing generally. And our next race is the Interstate Lightweight Men's Coxless 4 for the Penrith Cup, Lizzie.
So we can see the crews lined up there. Across on the far side on your screen is the Tasmanian crew of Angus Painter, Oscar Birtwistle, Laurie Dean and Alec Patterson, coached by Jacob Crowe. In lane 3, the crew for Queensland, Christian Place, Sam Parry, Riley Williams and Liam McCoy, coached by Mark Game, Andrew Clatworthy and Michael Russell. In lane 4, in the distinctive red and yellow of South Australia, Beecher Ross, Thomas Osborne, Kyle Miller and Hugo Worm, coached by Brenton Terrell. In lane 5, New South Wales, Nicholas Nater, Jason Waddell, Wyatt Batt and Zinc Bosco, coached by Sam Fennessy and Will Raven. In lane 6 for Victoria, Jordan Roberts, Nick Zygetter, Charles Raden and Benjamin Whitmey, coached by Al Matthews. In lane 7 for the Australian Capital Territory, Ishan Shalaka, Jonathan Adams, Matthew Rickard and Alex Tomanovitz, coached by William Hatcher. And in lane 8 for Western Australia, Jacob Sangster, Oliver Cliff, Ethan Bromley and Connor Brace, coached by Kevin Neville.
And Victoria took off at 47 strokes per minute. Whew. And have got their bow understandably in front. They've got a bow side tandem there, stroke and bow on the stroke side, 2 and 3 on the bow side, and they've taken the lead in the early stages, just steering over a little towards the New South Wales crew. New South Wales coached by Sam Fennessy and Will Raven. Will Raven doing a great job since he arrived at St Joseph's College. In second place is Tasmania, Angus Painter, Oscar Birtwistle. Domiciled in Queensland these days. I called him racing at the Queensland Championship. I think he's won a gold medal here at third place, probably the crew from Western Australia, coached by Kevin Neville, and then follows Queensland, coached by Mark Game, Andrew Clatworthy and Michael Russell. Almost as many coaches as there are people in the boat. Then follows the South Australians and across to New South Wales and the ACT. They have taken off. Well, Victoria have a proud record in this. Michael McNamara, the son of the former president, Patrick McNamara, used to row in this event. I remember him rowing at one of these races, and the next day he was 80 kilos. So lightweights do it tough to be down there on weight to represent their state or their country. And it's a very disciplined lifestyle to be a lightweight rower. The heaviest person in the boat can be 72.5 kilos, but the average may not be any more than 70 kilos. And that is very diligently managed by the weigh-in stewards and the officials as a whole. And the crew from Victoria are holding sway over Tasmania. They're coached by Jacob Crowe, holding down second place, and then follows the crew from Western Australia, coached by Jacob Sangster, Oliver Cliff, Ethan Bromley and Connor Brace, and they're coached by Kevin Neville. And in fourth place is a crew from Queensland, as I said, Place, Parry, Williams and McCoy. Then back to South Australia, New South Wales, and the ACT are in seventh place, but it's fantastic to see the ACT with a crew in this lightweight men's coxless for the Penrith Cup. That crew's coached by William Hatcher. It's Ishan Shalaka, Jonathan Adams, Matthew Rickard and Alex Tomanovitz. Rickard, a strong Victorian rowing name, as is Tomanovitz, but obviously those two youngsters are residents of the ACT, therefore rowing for the ACT. Queensland just a second behind Western Australia for third place, but it is the crew from Victoria that has led from the start. They're in a Felipe boat, as is the Tasmanian crew, and the Tasmanians have just said, let's go, and go they have. They've gapped the Victorians with a big effort. The Victorian bowman just looked around, had a cross there and said, wow, they're going fast. And the Victorians have lost the lead to Tasmania. Painter, Birtwistle, Laurie Dean and Alec Patterson. Oscar Birtwistle's dad, Dion Birtwistle, rowed in this boat a few times himself, and now his son rowing in it and just about in the lead over Victoria. Western Australia in third, Queensland fourth. New South Wales have improved into fifth place over South Australia, and the crew from the ACT is in seventh place. Victoria rowing a boat called the Lisa Schatz-Snyder, and represented Australia, and her dad was one of the great team doctors for the Australian rowing team in my time as a team manager. But it is Tasmania. They've got the beat up and they're going very rapidly indeed. They've got the best part of a canvas, maybe even a half a length. As they come to the 1,500 metre mark, the Victorians are hanging on tenaciously, but it's 1.53, a further 3.5 back to Western Australia. Then follows Queensland, New South Wales, South Australia and the ACT at the rear of the field. But it's the Tasmanians that have gone for home in the Interstate Lightweight Men's Coxless 4 for the Penrith Cup. Donated many years ago by the Penrith City Council for the Lightweight Men's Coxless 4 Interstate Championship of Australia. And Tasmania has a fantastic history. As I said earlier, once upon a time your name had to begin with B. Broad, Barmforth, Burgess, Butler and Birtwistle have all rowed in this, and Belts, of course, all rowed in this when Tasmania were having that great run. But the Victorians are not done with. They're trying to lift. They've got a terrific pride in that big white V that they have on their bow and on their left breast. And the Tasmanians have all got a big gold T on. Valiantly in second place, trying to peg back Tasmania. They won't give up without a fight. Western Australia in third, Queensland fourth, under pressure from New South Wales and South Australia, and the ACT at the rear of the field. But the Tasmanians were just off the pace a little in the first 500. They had a cracking middle 1,000. They're going to win the Penrith Cup, not for the first time, and it's the Interstate Lightweight Men's Coxless 4 Championship of Australia. Tasmania first, Victoria second, Western Australia third, fourth will be Queensland, fifth, cracking race, New South Wales and South Australia. What do you think, Lizzie? I think you think New South Wales got there, don't you? But you're not biased at all. So what's it? But we'll wait for that official. Tasmania first, 6:15.03. 6:15.03. 0.95, so the Victorians came back strongly. 7.05 next. New South Wales fifth, as Lizzie said. South Australia sixth. ACT seventh. 6:15.03. 0.95 by 7.05. Cracking performance once again by Tasmania in the Penrith Cup.
Presentation of medals and the Victoria Australia. The medals and cup will be presented by Mr. Paul Thompson, MBE, Rowing Australia Performance Director. Third place and bronze medalists Victoria, in the bow seat Ellie Brennan, In the two-seat, Lucy de Glaria Cade. In the three-seat, Maggie Foley. And stroke Ant de Cosmo. The crew was coached by Virginia Lee and Eleanor Crute. Second place and silver medalists, Tasmania. Phoebe Teal. Sophie Robinson. Anika Reardon. And their stroke, Verena Zilm. The crew is coached by Abby Crow and Paul Newbon. Gold medalist and interstate champions for 2024, New South Wales. Neve Tierney. In the two-seat, Laura Seifer. In the three-seat, Georgia Mansaro. And stroke, Grace Seifer. The crew was coached by Lachlan Carter and Katie Healy. And the Victoria Cup is now being presented to New South Wales. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our interstate champions and medalists in the lightweight women's quad scull. Rowing Australia would like to thank all partners, supporters and suppliers here at the 2024 Australian Rowing Championships. Destination New South Wales, Hancock Prospecting, the Australian Sports Commission and the Australian Institute of Sport, Penrith City Council, 776BC, Bont Rowing, the Colgan Foundation, Inglewood Coffee Roasters, Bolle, Bannister Downs Dairy, Tempur, Ticketmaster, The Regatta Shop, Sixt Australia, Sykes Rowing, Concept 2 and Croker Oars. With support from Rowing New South Wales, Rowing ACT, Rowing Queensland, Rowing South Australia, Rowing Tasmania, Rowing Victoria, and Rowing WA.
Hey there, Georgie Rowe here from the Australian rowing team and world record holder on the Ergo. I've got a few records myself, so I've got the 30-minute, the 5K and the full marathon, so it's fair to say I know a few things about how to row this machine. Join me on the Ergo to do a full body workout that's low impact and super efficient.
So our next race is the Interstate Women's Youth 8 for the Bicentenary Cup, and Lizzie Chapman will bring you the field.
I will indeed. In lane 2. Hucker, Maddie Higgins, Olivia Walter, and Grace Robertson, their cocks. They're coached by David Tippett. In lane 3, Queensland, Edie Russell, Astrid Thomas, Georgia Montague, Sophie Malcolm, Eliza Bridgefoot, Ruby Dollar, Alice Reddy, Tyler Hutton, and their cocks Priscilla Russell, coached by Andrew McNichol and Claire Raven. In lane 4, representing Victoria, Zara Kfouri, Jess Hawker, Jemima Wilcox, Meg Dumbrell, Abigail Cox, Sarah Marriott, Chloe Nevins and Lucy Richardson, coxed by Jackie Evans, coached by Connor McConville and Zoe Fettig-Gwynn. In lane 5, representing South Australia, Poppy Amani, Caroline McNally, Tamara Bates, Felicity Cox, Deanna Macalino, Zara Hoadley, Grace Barrera, Daisy Holland and their cocks Sophia Tayeb. They are coached by Christine McLaren and Joe Franco. She's been busy, that Christine, no wonder she fell over. In lane 6, Western Australia, represented by Juliet Kelly, Isabella Edinger, Kayla Calwitt, Alessia Scirocco, Sina Metzger, Emma O'Neill, Lila Fieve and Sinead Redding, coxed by Angeli Ng and coached by Keely Atchison. And in lane 7, representing New South Wales, Liesl Page, Jade Bliss, Jessica Colbran, Zoe Bond, Alexandra O'Brien, Alyssa Fickers, Talisa Noak Driver, Imogen Gray and their cocks Sophie Castellas, coached by Florence Griffiths and Jared Watson.
And New South Wales would be the overwhelming favourites, I would suggest, Lizzie, based on their performance in small boats and the number of national team representatives that are in the boat.
Yes, precisely.
Imogen Gray, Talisa.
So we had Zoe and Talisa Noak Driver, who were together in the junior women's double scull in 2022. And Zoe had been in the junior women's quad in 2020, and then she was in the under 21 quad last year, whilst Imogen Gray was in the Australia and Alex O'Brien were in the junior women's Cox 4 last year.
And while we're taking that time to talk about the New South Wales crew, Queensland has taken the lead. They're about a canvas in front of New South Wales, and very close for third and fourth between lanes 4 and 5, Victoria and South Australia. And it's great to see 4/8s going, hammer and tong at each other there. Then a little bit back to Western Australia and Tasmania on the far side of the course, coached by David Tippett. But it is Queensland over on the far side there with the white stripe down the side with all of those cues in them, which has become the norm for the Queensland rowing suit. New South Wales in their traditional colours as well, and they are the two crews that have taken off early, and it is at the 500 metre mark. It's Queensland by about a third of a length over New South Wales, 1.25 in fact. South Australia 0.86 back, then follows Victoria and the remainder of the field. The Queensland crew: Edie Russell, Astrid Thomas, Georgia Montague, Sophie Malcolm, Eliza Bridgefoot, Ruby Dollar, Alice Reedy, Tyler Hutton, Priscilla Russell's the coxswain, and the coaches are Andrew McNichol and Claire Raven. Andrew McNichol was a volunteer earlier in the week, but he's put his coach's stopwatch on later in the week, and he'd be very happy with the way things are going at this early juncture. Victoria have recovered from a tardy start and moved clearly into third place now, I would suggest, and then back to South Australia, Western Australia and Tasmania. The New South Wales closest to the grandstand will get plenty of encouragement in the last 350 metres, and we saw what it did for the King's School in the Schoolboy H Championship of Australia a couple of hours ago. But it is the current leaders are Queensland over New South Wales. Then in third place is still Victoria. Great to have a line of boys that we can line them up on, Lizzie. We can see what's exactly happening, can't we?
We can, and certainly Queensland taking a great lead there, and a very experienced crew they have too. Lots of names that we've heard many times before at national championships. Very experienced. The coach there, as you said, Andrew McNichol, the coach of the Victoria crew, Conor McConville, which I'm pretty sure he coached it last year as well. Yep,
and Victoria have moved into second place now, narrowly in front of New South Wales.
And New South Wales have a coach new to New South Wales, Florence Griffiths, who hails from Great Britain, where she was a junior team coach, and coached at my old club, Kingston Rowing Club, and did a great job with junior women over there. Joined the Sydney Rowing Club coaching team last season. And now in the interstate, but it's something else again, going from club rowing to interstate, isn't it?
The pressure is enormous, and as we said yesterday, the people from World Rowing thought we were nuts the way we carried on in 2014, 13 and 14 when we were here. But Victoria, Zara Kafori, Jess Hawker, Jemima Wilcox, Meg Dumbrell, Abigail Cox, Jackie Evans is the coxswain, and the coaches Conor McConville and Zoe Fettig-Wynne are in second place now over the New South Wales crew. New South Wales got away really, really well and were the early leaders, but Queensland were beside them on the far side of the course, but the bows were near each other. See Alex Field over there watching this race on his bicycle. And everybody over there's got helmets on, so well done to them as the Queensland crew comes towards the 1,500 metre mark in front of New South Wales and Victoria. 3/4 of a length lead over Victoria, a further half a length back to New South Wales. Then follows the crew from Western Australia, South Australia and Tasmania are at the rear in Station 2. 500 metres to go, and it's a crew from Queensland, 4:54.65, 3.15 seconds in front of Victoria. New South Wales in third place, just 1.04. Then back to Western Australia, 5.93 seconds back, then back to South Australia. And at the rear of the field is the crew from Tasmania. But our in and out sometimes coaching buddy, Jerick Hazelgrove, who's not here at the regatta, but he has coached a winning Queensland Women's Interstate Youth 8 Championship and coxed the Men's Youth 8 to win as well. So he had a rich history in that, but he's living life as a pilot and hasn't got time to mix with us anymore. But it is the Queensland crew on the far side in Station 3 that leads from Victoria and New South Wales. I don't know that Victoria has got any petrol left. New South Wales on this side and Victoria stroke for silver and bronze, but the Queenslanders have gone for home inside the last 200 metres. Edie Russell, Astrid Thomas, Georgia Montague, Sophie Malcolm, Eliza Bridgefoot, Ruby Dollar, Alice Reedy, Tyler Hutton, Priscilla Russell, coached by Andrew McNichol and Claire Raven. They look as though they've got the race within their keeping over the crew from Victoria, and then follows New South Wales. Western Australia will be in fourth place, South Australia will be fifth, Tasmania will be sixth, but with a dozen or so strokes left to go, it's a great win coming up for Queensland. New South Wales led early, Queensland pushed through to take the lead at 500, and it's Queensland for the Bicentenary Cup. Queensland first, Victoria second, third New South Wales in the Interstate Women's Youth 8 Championship of Australia. Fourth is Western Australia, fifth South Australia, and sixth is the crew from Tasmania. The winning time 6:34.75, the margin 2.53 by 1.29, and that's a pretty slick time, Lizzie.
Confirming the results in our Interstate Women's Youth 8 racing for the Bicentenary Cup. A win for Queensland, second Victoria, third New South Wales, fourth Western Australia, fifth South Australia, sixth Tasmania. The provisional winning time 6 minutes 34.75, the margins 2.53 and 1.29. Presentation of medals and the Penrith Cup for the lightweight men's coxless 4 Interstate Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Mr. Campbell Johnston, Mr. Colin Smith and Mr. Andrew Mitchellmore AO, 1974 world gold medalists in the lightweight men's 4. third place and bronze medalists, Western Australia. Bow Jacob Sangster. 2, Oliver Cliff. 3, Ethan Bromley. And stroke, Connor Brace. The crew was coached by Kevin Neville. Second and silver medalists, Victoria. Jordan Roberts. Nick Zeigetter. Charles Raden. And Benjamin Whitby. The crew was coached by Al Matthews. Gold medalists and interstate champions for 2024, Tasmania. Angus Painter. Oscar Birtwistle. Laurie Dean. Alec Patterson. The crew was coached by Jacob Crow. The Penrith Cup will now be presented. The cup is being presented by Mr. Campbell Johnston to Tasmania. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our interstate champions and medalists in the lightweight men's coxless 4.
So a big thank you to the Ascom girls who are our tray holders this afternoon. And they're at the start line for the Interstate Men's Youth 8 for the Wilkinson Cup. Richard just tells me that the Youth 8 Championship of Victoria is also for the Wilkinson Cup, which is appropriate because Noel F. Wilkinson was the treasurer of Rowing Australia when it was the Australian Amateur Rowing Council, and did a great job fundraising for Rowing Australia in days gone by. And I'll hand you over to Lizzie for the field in the Interstate Men's Youth 8 for the Wilkinson Cup.
In lane 2, South Australia, Jude Shermer, Arthur Drayton, Max Henry, Jasper Boyce, Henry Belcher, Edward Chipperfield, Adam Holland and Jake Nesbitt, coxed by Anand Holloway and coached by Bridget Carlisle. In lane 3, Queensland, Thomas Stevens, Matthew Cashman, Chad Willett, Andrew Waitman, Daniel Cashman, Monty Martin, Lex Tucker, Samuel Forbes and their cox Tom Shaw. Their coaches are Randall Martin, John Bowes and Stephen Pozzi. In lane 4, Victoria, Benjamin Marchant, Amos Kirk, Max Curry, James Horton, Tom Foley, Lachlan Idle, Nicholas Bryant and Winston Hooper, coxed by Josh Furferkranz and coached by Paul McGann. In lane 5, Western Australia, Jacob Cassie, Sam Clode, Harry Salfinger, Liam M. Davis, Charlie Stevenson, Oscar Lurie, Harper Davies, Fergus McNamara and their cox Ray Poon, coached by Alex Thompson and Olivia Jones. In lane 6 for Tasmania, Angus Vermey, Cameron Orton, Ryan Fox, Charlie Mitchell, Jonathan Voss, Rowan Sanderson, Falcon Palmer and Archie Stewart, coxed by Issy Leckie and coached by Andrew Palmer. And in lane 7, New South Wales, Oliver St. Pierre, Nicholas Whalen, Oscar Baregi, Brandon Smith, Joe Lynch, Alec Hoskin, Charlie Hine, Joshua Wilson and their cox Ryder Taylor, coached by Matthias Ungermach and Franz Imfeld.
And we had a picture of our starter for this race, Paul Knight, pressing the button to send them on their way. And David Grubitz from Victoria is the umpire for this race. And as I speak, I believe that the Queenslanders have just put their bow in front of Victoria, very close between those two, then back to New South Wales on this side. And South Australia going very nicely indeed, coached by Bridget Carlisle on the far side of the course. There's Queensland by 0.13, 124.66. Victoria second, 0.13, and then a further 1.28 back to a close contest between South Australia in lane 2 and New South Wales in lane 3. Queensland rowing a boat called the Sam Conrad. Sam Conrad, I think, may have won this race himself. Won the Schoolboy H Championship of Australia, rowing for Brisbane Grammar School, and then rowed in the Olympic 8 in Beijing in 2008, as his dad did. Tim Conrad rowed at the Olympic Games also. But it is the crew from Queensland. There was a squad of 10. 8 only can get in the boat on the day. Thomas Stevens in the bow seat, Matthew Cashman, Chad Willett, who's represented Australia in sculling, Andrew Waitman, Daniel Cashman, Monty Martin, Lex Tucker and Samuel Forbes. There's a couple of national championships amongst that group at this regatta. Stevens and Forbes have won the under-19 double, and some of the other guys won the under-21 under-21 four, and the Cashman brothers have had a great regatta as well. Cashman twins, I should say, as the Queenslanders have 2 seats over the crew from Victoria in second place. New South Wales on this side, coached by Matthias Ungermark and Franz Imfeld, are right there in the mix. They're only about a metre behind. Little to choose between Victoria and New South Wales. So you could throw a blanket over the first 3. Queensland in station 2, Victoria in station 4, New South Wales in station 7. That's where the speed is. That's where the medals are in the Interstate Men's Youth 8 Championship of Australia for the Noel F. Wilkinson Trophy. Victoria still 2 seats behind Queensland, but New South Wales only about a metre and a half behind Queensland and on the improve. Oliver St. Pierre, Nicholas Whalen, Oscar Baregi, Brandon Smith, Joe Lynch, Alec Hoskin, Charlie Hine, Joshua Wilson, Ryder Taylor is the coxswain, and the coaches Matthias Ungermark and Franz Imfeld, and they've drawn level with Queensland at that juncture.
So we have several members of that crew who've been to the Junior World Championships, including the gold medalists in the Cox 4 in 2022, Brandon Smith, Oliver St. Pierre, Joe Lynch, Josh Wilson, and of course the Cox, Ryder.
Were they coached by Judith Ungermark?
They were.
Yeah.
And then last year, Joe Lynch went again with Oliver's little brother Oscar.
Yep.
And Tane Potts and Dougal McKenzie. So we also have junior world level experience in the Victoria crew with their Cox, Josh Furferkrantz, who went to the Junior World Championships in the 8 as Cox in 2022, and James Horton was in that crew too.
So New South Wales have taken the lead there over Queensland. 0.04, it looks like more than that to me, and then 0.61 back to the crew from Victoria. If these three can hang on, they'll be the medalists. The rest have got a lot of work to do, but New South Wales are really stretching out now. South Australia have moved clearly into 4th place. It's New South Wales, Queensland and Victoria in the medal positions for the Wilkinson Cup for the Interstate Men's Youth 8 Championship. New South Wales have got a stunning record over the last 10 years or so in this race, and I think some of the New South Wales Youth 8s maybe could have won a King's Cup with the speed they showed. Great coaching crew here, Franz Imfeld and Matthias Ungermark, and the New South Wales crew benefiting from that excellent coaching, have taken the lead and are moving away with every stroke. Queensland hanging on to the silver medal position. Victoria are in 3rd place. They're coached by Paul Meggsy Posse, and that's where the medals are, as I said, ladies and gentlemen. But it's the blue of New South Wales on this side of the course are going to win the Wilkinson Cup once again. They've had a great record over the last 5 to 10 years, and New South Wales, they were back just a touch in the first half of the race, but they've come home very strongly indeed. New South Wales first, Queensland second, Victoria third, 4th will be South Australia, 5th will be Western Australia, and 6th will 0.36. The margin's 1.06 by 1.54.
Confirming the results of our Interstate Men's Youth 8 race for the Wilkinson Cup. A win for New South Wales, 2nd Queensland, 3rd Victoria, 4th South Australia, 5th Western Australia and 6th Tasmania. The unofficial winning time 5 minutes, 52.36. The margins 1.06 and 1.54.
Cracking race, Lizzie, but New South Wales too good, winning the Interstate Men's Youth 8 for the Wilkinson Cup.
Presentation of medals and the Bicentenary Cup for the Interstate Women's Youth 8 Championship. The medals and cup. Life member of Rowing Australia. Place and bronze medalists, New South Wales. Liesl Page, Jade Bliss, Jessica Colbran, Zoe Bond, Alexandra O'Brien, Alyssa Fickers, Talisa Noak Driver, Imogen Gray. And their cox. Griffiths. Silver medalist. Lucy Richardson. And their cox, Jackie Evans. The crew was coached by Connor McConville and Zoe Fettig-Wynn. And our gold medalists and interstate champions for 2024, Queensland. Edie Russell. Astrid Thomas. Georgia Montague. Sophie Malcolm. Eliza Bridgefoot. Ruby Dollar. Alice Reddy. Tyler Hutton. And their cox, Priscilla Russell. The crew was coached by Andrew McNichol and Claire Raven. And the Bicentenary Cup will now be presented to the crew. And ladies and gentlemen, would you please join me in congratulating our gold medalist, our interstate champions, and our other medalists in the Bicentenary Cup Youth 8.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're moving into the blocks now for the Interstate Women's 8 for the Queen Elizabeth II Trophy. It's about 4 minutes away from start time. But Lizzie will bring you the cruise because this is the creme de la creme of women's rowing in Australia in these boats.
Sure is. I'm not quite sure the lightweight women would agree with you there. But anyway, the Interstate Women's 8 racing for what is fondly known as the Queen's Cup, the Queen Elizabeth II Trophy. We've got Tasmania in lane 2, represented by Hannah Tippett, Lydia Tippett, Ashley Cherry, Jess Stevens, Courtney Blythe, Molly McCausland, Julie Jansons and Kate Oliver, coxed by Chloe Mead and coached by Sean Finlayson. We have New South Wales in lane 3, Caitlin McManus-Barrett, Laura Gourley, Rowena Meredith, Georgie Rowe, Samantha Morton, Isabella Scammell, Emily Shepherd and Harriet Hudson, coxed by Hannah Cowap, coached by Larissa Biesenthal and Judith Ungermark. In lane 4, representing Western Australia, Greta Spencer, Charlotte Broad, Zoe McKellar, Genevieve Hart, Emma Wilson, Jackie Swick, Rebecca Pretorius, Bronwyn Cox, and their cox Nicholas Rogers, coached by Mark Beer and Bill Hutton. In lane 5 for Victoria, Katrina Werry, Eliza Gaffney, Jean Mitchell, Amanda Bateman, Laura Foley, Lucy Steffen, Jess Morrison and Paige Barr, coxed by Hayley Verbunt, coached by Lucy Steffen and Beth Ross. In lane 6 for South Australia, Celia Cowan, Anna Collins, Victoria Binns, Mika Webb, Olympia Aldersey, Joyce Jollins, Georgina Tager and Ella Bramwell, coxed by Emma Venus, coached by Christine McLaren and Ron Mobbs. And in lane 7, Queensland, Madeline Williams, Nancy Duncan Banks, Jess Scott, Kate Rowan, Lucy Hope, Caitlin Cronin, Lily Ol, coached by Angelina Ellis, Emma McCarthy and Sally Keogh.
Sally now a board member in Queensland.
Yes,
So
and
great.
I see she's back coaching again, which is wonderful.
Yep, she's moved back to her native state and through work and has joined the Board of Rowing Queensland. So great to have her back. And I noticed Lucy Steffen is captain coach of Victoria. She's rowing in the boat and listed as one of the coaches as well. It's interesting because we see Harriet Hudson. She's been selected in sculling to go to the Olympic Games, but she learned her sweep rowing at school in Brisbane at Somerville House. So
yes.
Sweeping a stroke seat for an 8 is nothing new to Harriet. And the New South Wales crew, with the amount of grunt that they have in that boat, would be the favourites for the race, one would think.
Yes.
Although the Victorians will never give up one of these interstate races without a fight.
Oh, and it's such a strong crew. Well, their cox, Hayley Verbunt, is the selected cox for Australia's Women's 8. Paige Barr selected, Jess Morrison so strong in the pair, Lucy Steffen amazing in the coxless 4 and the 8, Laura Foley, Amanda Bateman selected into the double scull with Harriet Hudson for the Olympic campaign, Jean Mitchell, who's been so strong all year, Eliza Gaffney, Kat Werry, who the number of times Kat Werry must have won for Victoria. Significant. But you're quite right, we've got some young blood there in New South Wales with Emily Shepherd and Bella Scammell, who won gold in the under-23 coxed 4.
South Australia has Olympia Aldersey in the boat, and the Olympic Games opening ceremony will be held on Olympia's birthday.
And that is why she's called Olympia, isn't it?
Yeah, from
So-
1992, but the next Olympic Games in Paris is to be held.
That's
The
very
opening
nice,
ceremony is on her birthday. How do you know that, Ray? Because it's my wife's birthday, the same day.
There we go.
So it is the crew from New South Wales, who I said would be favourites for the race, have got out to a lead in the very early stages. Not surprisingly, it's Victoria who are second. Queensland there, right with Victoria, as New South Wales just inch further forward. In fourth place is the crew from Western Australia, which has plenty of quality in it also, with Greta Spencer, Charlotte Broad, Zoe McKellar, Genevieve Hart, Emma Wilson, Jackie Swick, Rebecca Pretorius, Bronwyn Cox, Nicholas Rogers, coached by Mark Beer and Bill Hutton. And New South Wales have taken the lead there now, clearly, over the improving Victorian crew. Queensland on this side of the course, holding down third currently, and Western Australia a narrow fourth behind them. Then back to South Australia and Tasmania. We've got Hannah Tippett and Lydia Tippett, but they're coached by Sean Finlayson, not one of the Tippetts. So, it's quite
We were just
surprising.
saying the T on the back of the Tasmanian Zooties
Stands
must
for
surely
Tippett.
be for Tippett.
Yeah. So New South Wales leading Victoria, and the timing says Western Australia are in third, and they may well be just in front of Queensland, and then back to South Australia and Tasmania at the rear of the field. So a field of 6 in the Interstate Women's 8-oar Championship of Australia for the Queen Elizabeth Trophy. Queensland crew there. Kate Rowan is selected into the Olympic team. Caitlin Cronin as well. And Lily Alton, has she made one of the teams? I'm not sure. Not sure that she made the 8 squad. She may well have, because it's actually a sweep squad at the moment, isn't it, Lizzie? So it is the New South Wales crew, but the Victorians are right there. They love interstate racing. The big white V, they have so much pride in it. It's New South Wales, and some people get annoyed with me when I say about the big white V. They all think they have as much pride in their state, but it's the big white V that's about to take the lead here in the Interstate Women's 8 Championship of Australia for the Queen Elizabeth Trophy. Queensland is still holding down third place, narrowly over Western Australia, then back to South Australia and Tasmania at the lead. At the rear, I should say. So they're heading towards the 1,000 metre mark. And Victoria, they're very, very synchronised in their movement. New South Wales second, Queensland third, and Western Australia fourth, and then back to South Australia and Tasmania at the rear. Big peloton watching this one, and I'm sure it includes all of these coaches who are listed here. Larissa Biesenthal and Judith Ungermark coaching New South Wales, and Victoria. One who won't be in the peloton is rowing in the middle of the boat, Lucy Steffen, along with Beth Ross is the other coach of the crew from Victoria. So the Western Australian crew, I gave them to you before, they're coached by Mark Beer and Bill Hutton, and they're hanging on to Queensland for the bronze medal position. But Victoria opening up. Every stroke they take another centimetre lead. Further they go, the further they go in front. The crew from Victoria, 3/4 of a length, almost a length clear over New South Wales. Second place, then follows Queensland narrowly in front of Western Australia for the bronze medal and a place on the podium. They head toward the 1,500 metre mark, and by the time they get there, the big white V will be a length in front. You can see the girl in the bow seat, the woman in the bow seat has got that big white V on the back of the zoot suit, and it's Victoria leading New South Wales and Queensland, and then Western Australia, South Australia and Tasmania. No match for these 4 leading crews, and it is more than a length at the 1,500 metre mark. They're on 37.5 strokes to the minute, the Victorian crew. 3.32 over New South Wales, 3.05 back to Queensland. Queensland in turn 1.59 over Western Australia. Then follows South Australia, and at the rear is the crew from Tasmania, coached by Sean Finlayson. South Australia coached by Christine McLaren and Ronnie Mobbs. It's great to see Ronnie at another national championship and having a coaching job for the boats, and Victoria goes further in front. Highballing it out in front, 37, 38 strokes to the minute. They're not leaving any stone unturned, and they just go further in front with every stroke they take. A very classy crew. Katrina Werry, Eliza Gaffney, Jean Mitchell, Amanda Bateman, Laura Foley, Lucy Steffen, Jess Morrison, Paige Barr, Hayley Verbunt, Lucy Steffen and Beth Ross are the coaches. And I've just put a number 1 beside lane 5, ladies and gentlemen, because you can put down the glasses. They're home, the Queen Elizabeth II trophy going to Victoria once again. New South Wales will finish second. Queensland will be third. Western Australia will be fourth. South Australia will be fifth, and Tasmania sixth. And a high five from the coxswain and stroke of the Victorian crew. Queensland across third, Western Australia fourth. South Australia will be fifth, Tasmania will be sixth. The winning time, 6 minutes 12.88. The margin 2.78 by 7.60. Another win in the Queen Elizabeth II trophy to Victoria.
I think that makes it 45 wins now out of the total of 96 races that have been raced in this event. So recapping the results of the Interstate Women's 8, racing for the Queen Elizabeth II trophy. A win for Victoria, second New South Wales, third Queensland, fourth Western Australia, fifth South Australia, sixth Tasmania. The provisional winning time, 6 minutes 12.88 seconds. The margins 2.78 and 7.6. Presentation of medals and the Noel F. Wilkinson Cup for the Interstate Men's Youth 8 Championship of Australia. The medals and cup will be presented by Michael Eastoff, Rowing Australia Life member. Victoria. Benjamin Marchant. Amos Kirk. Max Curry. James Horton. Tom Foley. Lachlan Idle. Nicholas Bryant. Winston Hooper. And their cox, Josh Ferferkrantz. The crew is coached by Paul McGann. Second place and silver medalists, Queensland. Thomas Stevens. Matthew Cashman. Chad Willett. Andrew Waitman. Daniel Cashman. Monty Martin. Lex Tucker. Samuel Forbes. Their cox, Tom Shaw. The crew was coached by Randall Martin, John Bowes and Stephen Posey. Gold medal for New Nicholas Whalen, Oscar Baregi, Brandon Smith, Joe Lynch, Alec Hoskin, Charlie Hine, Joshua Wilson, and their cox, Ryder Taylor. The crew was coached by Matthias Ungemach and Franz Imfeld. And the Noel F. Wilkinson Cup is now being presented to the crew. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our champions and medalists in the Interstate Men's Youth 8.
Welcome to Sydney. Upbeat, downbeat. Feel its heartbeat. Open spaces. Open arms. Open all night. Come feel it all. And feel new.
In every corner of this great country, Australians are chasing their dreams to be the best at what they do. In Australia and on the world stage. Through persistence and commitment, teamwork and resilience. With pride in what they do. Even in the toughest of times during the pandemic, pathways were found. With a shared vision to represent Australia, to be the best they can be, and to contribute to our nation.
Our patron, Gina Reinhardt, helps to give me the leadership and inspiration
to want to be the best.
to climb the biggest mountains of our lives.
Setting myself up now and into the future.
Like these great Australians, we too continually strive to be the best at everything we do.
We have varied and exciting career opportunities across our mining and agricultural businesses. To join Australia's most successful private company group, head to futureaustralianjobs.com for more information. Roy Hill and Atlas, investing in Australia's future.
Sixth car and truck rental is ready, Australia. Electric vehicles, they're as charged as we are. BYO engine noises.
Ladies and gentlemen, the last race. 560 races over 7 days. And we're racing for the Interstate Men's 8-Oar Championship of Australia for the King's Cup. And Lizzie Chapman will bring you the field for that event.
Thank you, Razor. In lane 2, Victoria, Benjamin Canham, Tim Masters, Austin Reiner, Rowan Lavery, Fergus Hamilton, Simon Keenan, Jack Robertson and Angus Widdicombe, with James Rook coxing them, coached by Matt Ryan and Alastair Matthews. In lane 3, representing Western Australia, Liam Davis, Alex Rossi, Ben Clayton, Blake Wyatt, Jack Cleary, Joshua Hicks, Riley Reese-Turner and Miles McQuillan, coxed by Tara Rogers and coached by Tom Catty. In lane 4, South Australia, Nick Blackman, Oscar McGuinness, Thomas Liubinas, Ross Hamilton, Adam Holland, Mitchell Reinhard, Angus Dawson and Alexander Hill OAM, coxed by Madison Newland, coached by Sam Morton. In lane 5 for Queensland, Elliot Appel, Miller Rowe, Noah Roseman, Harley Moore, Darcy Watter, Paddy Holt, Jared Lord and Mitch Salisbury, coxed by John O'Cook, coached by Scott Rowe and Christopher Holliday. In lane 6 for Tasmania, Carl Breyer, Hayden Mounter, Rowan Fenner, Rue Colley, Joseph Wilson, William Birchmore, Jack Barrett and Dion Birtwistle, coxed by Georgina Rumble and coached by Trevor Barrett. And in lane 7 for New South Wales, Campbell Watts, Will O'Shannessy, Jackson Kench, Nicholas Pender, Spencer Turren, Jack O'Brien, Jack Hargreaves OAM, Alex Pennell OAM, and I do apologise Spencer Turren OAM, and their cox Kendall Brody. The crew coached by Jason Baker OAM and Daniel Noonan. So a who's who of Australian men's rowing, I think they're making their debut for New South Wales. Nick Pender from the under-23 team.
I note with interest that there are a number of people who have won the King's Cup for New South Wales on 7 occasions. And the only one who can improve that score in this regatta is Spencer Turren. But coaching the Victorian 8 is Matt Ryan, who has also won it 7 times for New South Wales. So, so that's going to be interesting. So the Victorian coach, Matty Ryan, coaching Melbourne University Boat Club, has won the King's Cup 7 times for New South Wales. Spencer Turren has the opportunity to become the only person to have won it 8 times. And Matt is the one person who may be able to stop him.
Yeah, Spencer Turren, it's his 10th time racing in the King's Cup. He's so passionate about this event and about rowing for representing New South Wales. He was in the Youth 8 in times gone by too.
And our starter, Paul Knight, presses the button and away they go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm calling my last ever King's Cup. I've been doing this for a number of years. Began the Interstate Regatta way back in 1993 with the great Roger Wilson. And it's good night from me and it's good night from him. Straight to the lead. over Victoria, but who is surprised that New South Wales and Victoria would be the two boats to lead out in a King's Cup regatta? Victoria, Ben Canham, Tim Masters, Austin Reiner, Rowan Lavery, Fergus Hamilton, Simon Keenan, Jack Robinson, Angus Whitcomb, the stroke of the men's 8, possibly at the Olympic Games. James Rook coxing them. Matty Ryan joined by Al Matthews in the coaching tinny for this crew. New South Wales, Campbell Watts, Will O'Shannessy, Jackson Kent, Nicholas Pender, Spencer Turren, Jack O'Brien, Jack Hargraves, Alexander Purnell, Kendall Brodie, the coxswain, Jason Baker and Dan Noonan, the coaches. And Kendall Brodie's got an interesting story as well, Lizzie.
She has indeed. So in 2019, finally, a woman coxed King's Cup crew, and that was Kendall Brodie. She's been the incumbent cox since then, and of course also coxes the Australian men's 8.
So in third place, I reckon it'd be Western Australia, level pegging with Queensland, and then follows, Western Australia and South Australia, then follows Queensland and Tasmania at the rear of the field. So 6 crews in the Interstate 8-oar Championship of Australia. Victoria rowing a boat out of Mercantile Shed, named after the chairman of Mercantile, or the president, Mal Batten. It was great to see Mal yesterday here in the crowd, and they've got their bow in front of New South Wales. The proud big white V bearers. Noel Donaldson will be here. No prouder Victorian than him, and the Victorians are in the lead. New South Wales holding down second place. Then follows Western Australia, Liam Davis, Alex Rossi, Ben Clayton, Blake Wyatt, Jack Cleary, Josh Hicks backing up, having rode the single earlier. Riley Reese-Turner, Miles McQuillan, Tara Rogers is the coxswain, and Tom Gaddy coaching the crew from Western Australia, as the Victorians are clear on our screen there, with lots of cyclists watching them down the course. They've got a half a length lead over New South Wales. Western Australia and South Australia stroke for stroke. Nick Blackman, Oscar McGuinness, Tom Lubianis, Ross Hamilton, Adam Holland, Mitchell Reinhardt, Angus Dawson, Alex Hill in the stroke seat, Madison Newland, the coxswain, and coached by Sam Morton, and the President's Cup. And 3. New South Wales second, 1.29 back. Already to the South Australian crew. Then big boys are out to play. They're in stations 2 and 7, and the Victorians are making every post a winner, ladies and gentlemen. They've left the 1,000 metre behind. They're in the championship quarter, and they're heading for the 1,500 with a handsome lead over New South Wales. But New South Wales will not give in. They're lifting their rate. They're lifting their effort. They're trying to get alongside the Victorian crew in the Till leading that boat in the stroke seat, having already won a President's Cup for at least for the second, if not third time. South Australia in the bronze medal position, Western Australia 4th, Queensland 5th, and Tasmania 6th. But it's the Victorians, as I've said. The crew from Victoria, Ben Canham, Tim Masters, Austin Reiner, Rowan Lavery, Fergus Hamilton, Simon Keenan, Jack Robinson, Angus Whitcomb and James Rook. They go through 1,500 metre mark, and it's 3/4 of a length lead over New South Wales. 2.71 the margin. Then back to South Australia, 5.19 back. About a length of Western Australia. Queensland a half a length back, and Tasmania at the rear of the field. It's anybody's guess, but my money's on Victoria. The big white V on the bowman, Ben Canham, and big Gus Whitcomb in the stroke seat, trying to get another win for Victoria. They're 3/4 of a length clear. New South Wales lifting under their stroke there. Alex Purnell, he's had a look around. He knows he's got the job in front of him, as the Victorians on the far side in lane 2, the biggest peloton of the weekend. Victoria looking to win another King's Cup for the Interstate Men's 8-oar Championship of Australia. Victoria, they're in no danger. They're in front of New South Wales. New South Wales are trying hard. Victoria are getting tired. The South Australians have moved clearly into third place now, but Victoria and New South Wales have dominated from the outset. They've got about 25 strokes to go, and big Gus Whittingham is going to bring Victoria home once again in the King's Cup. With 5 strokes to go, it's Victoria for the Interstate Men's 8 Championship. Victoria first, New South Wales second, South Australia third, Western Australia will be fourth, Queensland will be fifth, and Tasmania will be sixth. 2.76 and 7.07. So, Lizzie, Matty Ryan is still equal record holder.
And, you know, he did that in, what year was it? We went to Lake Barrington. That's the last time
21.
that Victoria beat New South Wales,
Yeah.
2021. And that was Matty Ryan coaching that crew then. So there we go. Maybe you'll have to hang on in there, Spencer, and do another year.
Who was that who just jumped?
Might have been, was it Rowan or Fergus?
5 and
Yeah,
6.
Fergus Hamilton. Oh, and Simon Keenan.
There's a lot of love in the Victorian Bag. It's big Simon Keenan who's in the water.
So, ladies and gentlemen, just confirming the results of the Interstate Men's 8 competition for the King's Cup. A grand win there for Victoria. Second, New South Wales. Third, South Australia. Fourth, Western Australia. Fifth, Queensland. And sixth, Tasmania. Unofficially, the time was 5 minutes 33.3, the margins 2.76 and 7.07. Presentation of medals and the Queen Elizabeth II Trophy for the Interstate Women's 8 Championship of Australia. The medals and trophy will be presented by Her Excellency Mrs. Linda Hurley, accompanied by Sarah Cook, Chief Executive Officer of Rowing Australia. Place and bronze medalists, Queensland. Madeline Williams. Nancy Duncan Banks. Jess Scott. Kate Rowan. Lucy Hope. Caitlin Cronin. Lily Alton. Sarah Tisdall. Their cox, Lily Lunny. The crew was coached by Angelina Ellis, Emma McCarthy and Sally Keogh. Second place and silver medalists, New South Wales. Caitlin McManus Barrett. Laura Gourley. Rowena Meredith. Georgie Rowe. Samantha Morton. Isabella Scammell. Emily Shepherd. Harriet Hudson. And their cox, Hannah Cowap. The crew was coached by Larissa Wiesenthal and Judith Ungermark. Gold medalists and Australian Interstate Champions for 2024, Victoria. Jean Mitchell. Eliza Gaffney. Laura Foley. Amanda Bateman. Kat Werry. Lucy Stephan. Jess Morrison. Paige Barr. And their cox, Hayley Verbunt. The crew was coached by Lucy Stephan and Beth Ross. The Queen Elizabeth II trophy will now be presented to the crew. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our champions and medalists in the Interstate Women's 8.
Thank you to all the people who are listening at home and sending well wishes through, and thank you to Michael Toon. We've had our records updated. Georgia Green was in fact the first female to cox in the King's Cup in 1996, and New South Wales finished second on that time.
Interstate. The medals will be presented by His Excellency General the Honourable David Hurley, AC, DSC, retired.
Holding the King's Cup is Ted Kenny, who's representing the Kenny family. Ted's great uncle Edward Kenny was instrumental in getting the King's Cup to Australia, and the rowers and coaches of the winning King's Cup crews will receive the Kenny Memorial Medallion.
Third place and bronze medalists, South Australia. Nick Blackman. Oscar McGuinness. Thomas Liubinas. Ross Hamilton. Adam Holland. Mitchell Reinhardt. Angus Dawson. And Alexander Hill, OAM. They're Cox and Madison Newland. The crew was coached by Sam Morton. Second place and silver medalists, New South Wales. Campbell Watts. Nicholas Pender. Spencer Turin. OAM Jack O'Brien. Jack Hargreaves. Alex Purnell. And their Cox, Kendall Brody. The crew was coached by Jason Baker and Daniel Noonan. Gold medalists and Australian Interstate Champions for 2024, Victoria. Look. Benjamin Canham. Tim Masters. Austin Reiner. Rowan Lavery. Fergus Hamilton. Simon Keenan. Jack Robertson. And Angus Widdicombe. And their Cox, James Rook. The crew is coached by Matt Ryan and Al Matthews. The King's Cup will now be presented to the Victorian Men's 8. And ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our interstate champions and our medalists in the men's 8.
Thank you to Ted Kenny and thank you to his great uncle Edward Kenny, who brought the King's Cup to Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, our last trophy for this National Championships and Interstate Regatta is the John Coates AC Interstate Champion Cup, and the presenter is John Coates AC, Rowing Australia Life member. In third place with 45 points is Queensland. In second place with 56 points is Victoria. Once again, the Interstate Championship Cup, the John Coates AC Interstate Champion Cup, goes to New South Wales with 60 points. And Stephen Donnelly, President of Rowing New South Wales, has accepted the trophy from John Coates. So, ladies and gentlemen, we thank all of our volunteers. We thank all of the 177,000 people who've watched it on live streaming. And I'd like to thank Stuart John, Lizzie Chapman, Richard Dorstein, Chris McCarthy, Ben Homer and Owen Nix for the great job they've done bringing the regatta to you live here at the Sydney International Regatta Centre. And we all send out a big cheerio to BMA, Lockie and Glenn and the boys at BMA, who've brought you these outstanding pictures, supported by John Meekings and Chris Grummett. And that's it from us, ladies and gentlemen. Have a safe trip home. And for those going to Lake Barrington next year, I hope to see you on Friday, Saturday and Sunday.